Good morning and welcome back with our state representative John Patterson. John, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
You come here early this morning.
Yeah, I was up. The weather's nice. The birds are chirping. What's not to love about it?
I love to listen to those birds chirp. And we're not fighting snow and ice like you've done all winter long.
Yeah. It's a great day. What a beautiful weekend, too.
Oh, it was. Unfortunately, the temperatures are going to go down. It's supposed to hit mid to high 60s today. I don't know so much about on the lakefront, but temperatures in the 50s for the rest of the week. But then from Wednesday on, I think it's going to be sunny skies. So we get the sun shining out there.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
Good week.
Day. You got a lot of stuff on your plate, a lot of things going on. I'm kind of going to turn it over to you. Tell us what you got going on down there in Columbus.
Well, the budget's the big news right now.
Yeah.
And all the components of that, a lot of moving parts. In fact, last night I had a conference call with my caucus to determine where we're headed on this, because the goal is to vote the substitute bill out of committee today and then have it on the House floor Wednesday, because we have to get it over to the Senate. They get to play with it for a while, because we must have, by constitutional dictate, a budget ready to go by July 1st. So, and then the governor has to weigh in on it too. But I really feel sorry for schools, because they're all school districts in Ohio, because they have to plan their budget for next year now, not knowing what's coming down. So I've gained a whole, being on finance is my first time on finance, and the subcommittee for primary secondary education, gained a whole new appreciation of why, when I was a teacher and we would enter into negotiations about this time, why the superintendents would be pulling their hair out. Poor Doug Hladdick and J.C. Montenero, and before them Chuck Jeffords and Mr. Peterson, have a greater appreciation for their frustration.
Do you have to go to Columbus today?
Yes, I do.
No kidding.
Yeah, I need to be down there by 1 o'clock because we're going to be meeting before we actually go into committee. The omnibus amendments ought to be out to the substitute bill, which means that the tweaks and changes that we have, that the other side has, we're going to get a chance to look at those hopefully, before we go into committee.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I did notice our governor was on Meet the Press yesterday. Kind of didn't declare his candidacy, but he kind of hinted about it pretty strongly. Hear any inside scoops?
Yeah. No. It's and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and you know what? That's good for the state, and I say that for this reason. That not only does it, again, position Ohio as, and I like the fact, for the same reason, that the Republican convention's coming to Cleveland. I wish we could have gotten the Democrats to Columbus, but it positions Ohio as a key state in the Union. And when you think about the fact that we are the 7th most densely, populated state in the Union, we've got a lot of sway here. And as Ohio goes, so goes the United States. So I think it's valuable for the Republicans. I think it's valuable for the Democrats, because it highlights who we are. So very good.
As a matter of fact, I get an automatic news release from the governor every day, practically, from his people that told me, I think it was on Friday, that he was going to be on national television on Sunday. He's been on there quite a few times, so he's using that forum as
He's positioning himself, because some of those who've come out are viewed by many to be a little bit too far out of the center to be electable. But he's positioning himself towards the center. I'll make a prediction, though, to all the listening audience, that when he's for real, the governor comes out, that he'll do it on the Pat Williams show. Heck with those poor imitations.
Hey, we'll take that scoop, bro. We'll do that. And we'll we'll try to get Hillary on when well, she's already announced her.
She's announced, but she has to come to Conneaut.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have to.
Any of the major candidates must go through Conneaut. That's the doorway to the White House.
We never ever get the closest they ever come is usually Erie or Cleveland. You know, we never get the big names here. Obviously, they want the big crowds and that sort of. But I remember covering. I think it was during when Nixon was running. He ran against Humphrey, didn't he?
Yes, in '68.
'68. I was sent to Erie, and Nixon was there. And he looked this big because I was so far away from him, because I was just a little young reporter, but I remember covering that, and it was exciting. It was a lot of fun. You know?
It is. And that means that we'll get a lot of television ads, political ads
That's right.
coming up in 2 years.
That's right.
A lot of races. We have a Senate race shaping up.
Yeah, we do.
With Portland and Strickland, and Strickland's challenger, the young councilman from Cincinnati. So a lot of money going to be spent in Ohio.
Well, and we get some of it too.
That's right. And we're working closely with the tourism folks to bring out that national media to Ohio's wine country here, and hopefully Conneaut during the RNC. Because what else do they have to do during the day? Stay in downtown Cleveland or see beautiful Conneaut?
Yeah, bring them to the country here.
That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of tourism, I understand now that the tourism place out on 90 is going to be staffed this year.
Yes, yes.
Which was kind of shaky before.
Yeah, there's a story behind that, but as long as there's a living body out there, I'm happy. Phil Garsha's happy, and it's good for the.
I know City Council's all very happy.
Yes.
And the tourism board, obviously, Connie Naylor and the group.
Yeah.
I just got done talking to Tom Smile, and he's on the tourism board, and I know he would be very happy as well, because I think we need that. As you know, you fought for it.
Yes.
And
Mary Cusick, who is director of the Ohio Tourism Council, owes me a visit. She's been promising for over a year now that she'd get up to Conneaut. We keep harassing her, and I can't seem to move her scheduler to get her up here, but that's still on my laundry list.
Yeah, I know you've told me that many times.
I want her to see what we have here, and again, anytime. And the Agricultural Committee, by the way, is anxious to come back to see our great corner of the state sometime later this summer. Anytime I can get them up here to see what we have, it changes their view of us. So I'll keep my efforts up to make sure she gets here.
I know you will. I know you will. Something I've been wanting to ask you, I thought about this the other day. I was reading a story. I believe it was in the Plain Dealer. It came to my attention, I would say probably 6-7 months ago, by one of my co-hosts that was in education. And I had no clue. I did not realize that cursive writing has been kind of put on the way back burner.
Yes.
And now there's kind of a push to get it back.
Right.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I can. And there are a couple of reasons for it. For one thing, computers are everywhere, and keyboarding. The feeling was that precious time would be better used, and we moved in that, and actually instituted in some schools keyboarding classes, so kids would be able to use their computers more fluently. The other thing that is a part of that is the fact that it's not necessarily tested, and because we've had high stakes testing for a number of years now, if it's not tested, we don't worry about it, which is why vocational agriculture, which is why consumer science, and in some cases elementary art, music, and gym, and that 5x8 rule, and I don't want to get into that with you too, have been kind of pushed aside, because at the bare necessity, if a kid can print, the student can print, then he can get by in society. Now, in the long run, that was on my radar, but first things first here. There's some value, some definite value for cursive. One is the fact that a lot of our historical documents are written in cursive.
Correct.
And if a student is going to go back and really appreciate the Constitution, the Declaration, or even Grandma's diary, it's going to be in cursive. And that would be a huge impediment to the connection that all of us should have with the past. Secondly, there's a lot of research out there that indicates fine motor skills are enhanced with that coordination to write in a cursive fashion. It's good for the brain, it's good for the integration, especially in younger students.
Right.
There's more synapses that are connected. And thirdly, especially in our area, Platt R. Spencer, father of penmanship. I mean, one of Geneva's elementary schools is named after him.
Right.
It's important to preserve that tradition. Now, we just can't, and the bill requires that to be taught, and that's a good idea. But what also has to come with that is less test time and a little bit less, a lot less stress on our students and our teachers, so that we can incorporate that into the curriculum again without feeling that this test is bearing down on their shoulders. And we're working to do that too. There's a bill that we've been looking at and had 6 or 7 hearings on to cut back on testing, to move away from Park, and to respect the pressure that we've put our students and their parents and our teachers and our administrators under because of the high stakes testing.
Right.
And what goes with it. So it's a combination of things. It's important to do, but we can't emphasize that without making it a little bit more palatable. So
how long has this been, John, that they got away from?
some schools have continued to, and I was reading in the Star Beacon, Mike, Conneaut student, Noter, Conneaut superintendent, mentions that they work on it well enough in the Conneaut curriculum so they can write their name. That's still important on legal documents and such. But to actually practice penmanship out of the books like you and I did years ago and get a grade for handwriting, I never got above a C+. You were probably an A student.
Yeah, right.
But we've moved, it's been a gradual shift. And probably, I don't know, we'd have to ask some people in the elementary schools. So gradual we never noticed it. I would say definitely within the last 5 to 10 years.
See, that just takes me off guard because I had no clue. But, like, before you leave today, I'm going to be talking to you about May, coming on in May.
You're going to pick up a pen?
I'll write it. I don't use the computer thing or the iPad or whatever. I don't use that for my notes. I have everything on writing, and so I am addicted to cursive writing. That's what I do. You can't read it. Nobody can read it, but that's what I do. My grandmother told me many years ago as a little kid, when she was in school back in the, it must have been 1900s, early 1900s, she was left-handed. They used to slap her hand until she went to right-handed to write. She never could write that well because she had to go to be right-handed. But that's how strict they were in those days.
Right,
yeah.
I think part of that was the fact that very few teachers were left-handed and could actually help them.
I believe you're right.
Imagine you and I being forced to write with our left hand, how hard that would be.
Oh, it'd be terrible.
Yeah.
It would be terrible.
And think, we've done a lot of nasty things to left-handers.
We're lefties.
At least they're in their right mind, though.
So John, the bottom line is that there is a movement out there to get this.
Yes, there's a bill that is coming to our education committee. Now, obviously, it's not as high priority as the testing component, but it's coming. It's been introduced, and I'm a big proponent of that. As long as we give teachers time to do that sort of thing.
And you just hit on something that didn't even come to mind. The people need to be able to sign their names to documents.
Yes.
A mortgage, a car buy. I never even thought about that.
Yes.
You know, just part of life. So.
Truly, it's something we take for granted. And the other thing too, when my in-laws passed away and we were cleaning out the house, my wife came across a box of letters that my father-in-law had written during the war. When he was stationed in Alaska, he was in the Aleutians, to his wife, beautiful, timeless classics.
Sure.
They're pouring out the things that were going on in that particular day, how things back home, my love for you, that sort of thing. To be unable to read that would be a tragedy.
Yes. Yes.
So we need to be able to help our students connect with the past and put a human face on that. I can remember teaching history. Kids would come in early on and say, "Oh, I hate history. I hate history." Okay.
My favorite subject.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was never. They never thought of it in a human way. And I used to tell them, think of your grandparents. You suppose they had crushes when they were in school? Do you suppose that they went swimming on Sunday afternoons and had family gatherings? Do you think they held hands? Do you think they kissed a lot? And then, ooh, we don't want to think. But they were real, and great-grandparents especially, the kids would only hear about and not physically know because they passed on. But to try and make the connection between our students and the past by making that as personal as possible. When you deal with the emotions, then it becomes alive.
Yeah, yeah.
And it helps us. It helps ground us as to where we are, where we're headed, and really the short time that we're here, and the search for meaning that all of us are after, and how, in my humble opinion, when we live for others and we serve others, we find meaning in our own lives.
Sure.
So we've got to open that door, and I think handwriting is part of that.
You can call and ask John any questions you like. He's got an open door policy, always has. 593-7181. Before we go to break, there is one other subject that is kind of been on the forefront of the community here. The bridge out at Amboy has started.
All right.
And the detours are in place, and it seems to be going rather smoothly. It looks
Good.
like it is.
And, you know, I have not heard any. There have been no calls to the office.
Good.
Now I know Phil Garcia called when we were in that transitory process about signage and such, but I was aware of the fact that there's a big orange, huge sign in downtown Conneaut there directing people. The signage around on the interstate, I noticed even this morning, seems to be adequate, but there have been no calls. I haven't heard from my emergency responders. If anybody's having issues, I need to know, but it's been all quiet, and I think it was well publicized, and I do know that our ODOT folks did go door to door.
They did.
With pamphlets, especially to our businesses,
Yep.
To let them know that this was coming.
Yeah, and I don't have to, I live down by the lake, so I don't have to go up that way really, but so I go down Lake Road to go around, but I did, just to check it out, I did check it out here last week, and you're right, the signage is excellent. If you don't know that that's being done, you're not paying attention, because there's signs all over the place on both sides, you know, so they did a good job, and hopefully it'll be done by the end of the year.
That's the plan.
And we'll
Think how much progress we've made.
We made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
A lot of progress.
90's looking good, the Tourist Information Center. I'm looking forward to another great D-Day celebration here coming up.
A lot of good tourism coming this way also because of the fishing and boating that we present here, which I love. I love going down the lake in the summertime and seeing everybody having a good time and utilizing the facilities.
Exactly.
You know, something I was going to ask you about earlier, John, I forgot to. You do make appearances here in town.
Oh yes.
A lot of them, but you are on a steady basis. The first Monday of the month.
First Monday of every month at the Conneaut Human Resource Center from 1 to 2:30. Don't need an appointment. You can walk in. They give me a small office there, and we can chat about anything.
Do people actually come on?
Oh yeah.
Do they?
Busy every time.
What are some of the things that they want addressed?
Personal issues. They're having trouble with some component of the state government. They may have ideas for legislation. They may want to know my opinion on different things.
Okay.
Some call ahead for an appointment, and that's good, and others just show up, and that's good. And so I'm in Conneaut the first Monday. The second Monday of the month, I'm in Chardon at the Public Library. The third Friday of the month, I'm in Geneva at their senior center. and the
Wow.
fourth Monday of the month I'm at Asheville Public Library. So instead of having one office, I actually want to go out and see my folks in their community. Makes it easier for them. It's easy for me to.
Well, we certainly appreciate the fact that you take the time to come on this show, because I think it's important that people can call in, or they can talk to you, or hear your views on what's going on around
Right.
the state and locally as well. So I think that's we appreciate that a lot. We
Well,
really
I
do.
appreciate the opportunity to be here. I really care about our district. I care about the direction we're going. We're moving in a positive direction. And the thing of it is, it all comes back to communication. I know I'm going on 32 years this summer of happily married bliss.
Oh boy.
And you know as well as I do that communication is essential to that
Yes.
fruition. And those magical two words, yes, dear.
You got it. Hi, you're on the air.
Morning, Pat. Good morning, John.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Hey, John, I talked to you maybe a year ago about something to be done on tires being thrown around on the roadsides. I
Yes.
talked to you about maybe putting a core charge on tires so that when you buy a tire, like you would go into Walmart or whatever,
Right.
buy a tire, if you didn't have a tire with you, you would be charged like $15. And then if you did have a tire, then you'd only be charged the amount that it takes to get rid of the tire.
Right.
I don't know if you've thought any more about that. I mean, I went down my road and there must be 30 tires down the little gully down there
My goodness.
where people have just thrown them because they have nowhere to, or they're not pushed into recycling. That would be part of your recycling program that you have with the county that they're mandated by the EPA to initiate.
Right.
I'd like to see something done with this, John, because this is, I don't think you're going to be able to get rid of the tires that are already in the environment that are out there, but this would sure help in resolving the problem of new tires being put into the environment.
Yes. Now that's very valuable insight that you've provided there. And you know, I gotta be up front in the everything that I've been working on. I've kind of put that on the back burner, and I'm glad you jogged my memory. I'll get back on that once I get through this budget. That's an excellent idea, and I appreciate that.
I mean, it wouldn't be to the point where, like, I mean, the $15 sounds like a lot of money, but it would force people into turning in a tire and paying for its disposal.
That's right. That's right.
And then, like, say if you didn't have that tire and you went into Walmart and you paid the $15, then when you brought a tire back in, you would get everything but what it cost to dispose of that tire back.
Right.
So if it cost $2 to dispose of it, you would get $13 back.
Correct.
And it would force people into getting rid of these new tires, not the ones that are already out there, but it would get rid of these new tires from being thrown into the environment, because what I think's going on down by me and around a lot of rural roads is the fact that people are buying these tires and they don't want to dispose of them. You know, they don't want to pay that $2 or take it back, or even just to take it back to the place.
Right. Right.
So,
Yep.
like I said, I wanted to bring that up to you again.
I appreciate that. I made a note to myself.
It's something that I think really needs to be addressed in this state and any state around here, even PA. You know, I mean, we don't dictate to what they do, but I mean,
Right.
I think it's something that really needs to be considered, because it's getting disgusting. It's bad for our tourism, which you know, I'm a part of the tourism
Yep.
board, and I hate seeing this stuff. And you know, I mean, it looks dirty.
Right.
So, okay, I just wanted to call in and talk to you about that and jog your memory on it. They always seem to respond well to me, so you respond well to your constituents as it is, and I think you're doing a good job there, my friend.
Thank you. I'll keep working for you, and I appreciate jogging my memory like that. I sometimes lose track. Thank you.
I understand it. You know, you got a lot of things on your mind, and you do commit a lot to your area, you know, as far as getting around and everything. And May 2nd, we'll be having our County Creek cleanup. I talked to Pat about this morning. We'll be down at Skip on Field, and you feel encouraged to want to put on some mud boots and some gloves and stuff, you're more than welcome to come down there and give us a hand.
Fantastic. I appreciate that.
Okay, John, you have a nice day.
Thanks.
Take care.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a great guy.
He is a good guy.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
Master gardener.
Isn't that awesome? Do you find yourself writing notes to yourself?
Constantly.
And then I can't remember where I put the note. Now this one I remember with my phone.
I have to. I just did it with you on our next session.
Yeah.
Or I'll forget.
I know.
You know, so, hi, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, John.
Hi there.
How you doing? This is Ken. I just wanted to let you know that the job what you're doing is doing a wonderful job. And all those years you put in, well, that's a lot of hours you put in for everybody.
Thank you.
And I hope that you keep on going and get this all out going straight where we're supposed to be.
I appreciate that.
And I know there's a lot of rough things to do, but we have to get everything done. And I like the way you're doing your work. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I take that seriously because I care about my folks and I care about this district, and it's just important. The district comes first. It's about we, not about me, Pat.
Okay. That's
Yep.
fair enough. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, I was going to talk about something else, but they brought up the tire deal again.
Yes.
You know how many people, buy used tires, from recycling places, like right down the road, on Middle Road, there's Northeast, the recycling, and, they buy the $20, $15 tires. And most of these people are, low income, and they can't afford new tires. So when they buy used tires, usually they put them on in the backyard, break them down, and then they throw them in the trunk and stop at the next stop sign and throw them out. That's what usually happens to them. So, people that buy new tires, they're responsible, but there's a lot of them. A lot of people, I don't buy new tires, but I get rid of my tires. I know, I'm using mine for a backstop, a shooting range.
Good for you.
So if I pick up new tires, or I pick up truck tires, I use them out here for a playground for the goats and that,
Yep.
But a lot of people, they don't buy new tires, so that $10 whatever on a tire, I don't know. To me, it don't seem like it's going to work.
Yeah.
Hey, but on this Medicaid deal,
Yes.
I ran into a problem where Medicaid, now I got, you had to go pick an insurance company, but so I picked Buckeye. And then Buckeye, I guess they know more than a doctor because they said that I'm supposed to take this Lyrica, that's what the two doctors described me because of my, what do they call that, neuropathy?
Yes.
And, but now Buckeye says, oh no, you can't take, we're not going to approve that, you got to take something else, but boy, you talk about a runaround. They make you try to appeal it, and then you try to appeal it, and they say, well, what happened was they sent paper out on March 30th that said that they were no longer going to provide me with Lyrica as of April 1st. They sent it out on March 30th, and this is for April 1st. And we didn't get the letter until April 7th. What a big runaround this is.
Dennis.
I called the Wines office. He passed the buck to the state insurance, right? State insurance, the state insurance board or whatever. They passed the buck to Job and Family Services. What a big runaround.
Dennis, how come they won't? They don't want you on Lyrica. Is it because of the expense?
Their pharmacy knows better than the doctor that I'm going to, I guess.
I have heard that. I have a buddy that was on, had to take a special cholesterol medicine, and they didn't want to pay for it. And they told him to get on a generic or something. And he goes, but my doctor says I need to be on this one, and he had to run around too.
Yeah, it is nothing. We were on the phone from 7 o'clock, what day was that, Thursday morning, until like noon. And what a big runaround it is. Everybody's passing the buck. I mean, they don't want to take responsibility. Is this what Obamacare, I mean, we didn't have one lady got in a big fight over that when I said something about Obamacare. Whoa, boy, who was she from? She might have been part of the Buckeye Insurance Company there.
Yeah.
Boy, did she.
So what are you taking any kind of medication for it now, or what?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It ain't helping. In that Lyrica, they said if you got to take, if you go to get off from it, you got to take it gradually. You know, you can't just jump off from it like I did. You know, you might get suicidal thoughts or something like that. You know,
Right. There's all kinds of side effects and stuff.
I got a thought about wringing somebody's neck. That's the only thought I had.
Hey Dennis, if it makes you feel any better, sometimes even when I call agencies in Columbus, I get the runaround. I know your frustration.
I mean, something needs to be done with that. I mean, what a big, it's not, I don't see how a guy sitting in an office in Columbus knows, you know, your medical, you know, from the doctor up here in Asheville, you know.
Right.
It just don't make no sense.
I know, I understand your frustration.
But I thought I'd throw that out there.
Thanks. Hang in there, buddy.
Later.
All right, Dennis Toth. We're gonna get one more commercial in. John, can you stick around a few more minutes?
Yes, I
I know
can.
you got to go to Columbus. I don't want to hold you up,
Nope.
but well, I better take this.
Oh, we better take a call.
Hi, you're on the air.
This is Sharpie.
Hey, Sharpie.
Hey.
My doctor changed my pain pills, won't give them to me no more, won't just prescribe them. And for cholesterol, they also changed prescriptions because it was expensive and they give you a generic pill. So they're changing a lot of people's medication, not just around here, but all over the country they're changing prescriptions to give you generics or give you something that's no good, or even these pills here, 10 milligrams. I was taking 50, now I'm down to 10. What good is that? You know? Well, anyhow, enough of that. For the tourist, you should see the roads around the city garage where I live. I was outside yesterday looking at my road. I had my yard all cleaned up by this outfit. They did a real good job cleaning up around the yard. I told them if they can, they'll clean up the road. Well, they run the leaf blower, got the leaves, but they didn't get the mud and the dirt and the stones and the sticks. And I mean, there's a truckload in front of my house, and I cannot dig it up no more.
Yeah.
It's a mess. I
What do you
wonder
got?
what's happening with that bunkhouse. Are they going to demolish that, or are they still looking at it, or what?
They're awaiting for the final report from the county on whether or not that building next to it will be compromised in case they
Yeah.
have to bring it down.
That's my brother Bobby, and he was sitting here in the Davenport yesterday. He said that bunkhouse is in better shape than Kmart and some other buildings.
Is that right?
Roof and the cellar are real good shape, and big timbers in the cellar holding that up. And the roof, my brother said he's going to maybe inspect it some more with some people. And he said that roof would last forever.
Is Bobby's your brother?
Yeah, Bobby. The
Yeah, I
big
know Bob.
whiskers.
I know him. Yeah, Whisker. I've known him forever. A good friend of
His
mine.
name is Sharp.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Bobby Sharp.
Yeah.
So he isn't working out of there anymore then, right?
He's working there every day.
So that's still open? Because
Well, yes, he's got about 5 or 6 motorcycles in there that cost a lot of money.
because the newspaper keeps saying it's closed, and I'm going, I think it's open. You know?
It's open, O-P-E-N. I don't know why the newspapers say that, because they don't know what they're talking about.
I know it.
Get on the ground and take a walk around town.
Really? Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, well, he was here yesterday. Okay, that's enough for me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharpie.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We've been getting quite a few phone calls the last few minutes, so and we were getting another one as we went to break. So if you want to call back, certainly
There
please
we
do.
go.
And there it is. Okay. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Pat and John.
Morning.
Hi,
Hey,
Jim.
this is Jim out of California.
He's streaming us.
Good. And yes,
Hey,
I know what question you're
I've
going to
been
ask.
listening, and there's people calling in about tires, and
Yes.
over the years, there's couches, there's chairs, refrigerators dumped, out on back roads wherever they dump it. Now, our trash company here offers free special pickups. We get 3 a year. And if you have a big item, you can have up to 10 items. And you have to list them when you call in for a special pickup. And you do that 3 times a year, and you never see couches, TVs, refrigerators laying around dumped. It just solves the whole problem by having that service.
And
Another thing about the tires is like they just slurry coated our street all around. And what they use is tires. I guess it's the oil, the tar out of the tire,
yes.
water,
I've heard that.
small aggregate. And this dump truck, it's got all that on it, backs up to this little sled. And then as it goes along, they heat the oil with propane, and it spreads. It puts about a half-inch slurry coat on, and the streets are just like glass. And there's a use for tires.
Yes.
I don't know. I talked with a guy when he went by my house here, and I said, "What do you mix with that?" And he said they use old tires, and somehow I don't know how it mixes with water, but then it mixes in with the aggregate, and when it puts it down, it's a nice, smooth layer. Of course, ahead of time, they went around all the cracks, and any deep holes, they repaired them, and they filled the cracks with tar. And then they did this, and it's just so smooth. I don't know if our house got anything like that, but anyway, that's my comments about the trash pickup.
Hey,
Mainly was have some special pickups free for the people, and up to 10 items, and they won't dump all over the place.
It's a good idea.
If you come across that slurry mix and have some information, could you email that to Pat so that I could have a look at that if you happen to?
What is it you want? I've got the volume turned down a little bit here.
Oh, if you could pass along that information about the tire mix that they put on the streets, that slurry. If you could come across any of that information, just email it to Pat. I'd be interested.
You know what I'll do? I'll see if they've been around this area.
Okay.
Doing all the streets.
Thanks.
And I'll have to, if I see them, I'll have to stop, get the name of the company, and I can send that in, and they can give you the info on it.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Send it to me, Jim.
But that works. I mean, I could show you a picture of this street out here. And when they put that down,
Wow.
it's just so smooth. I didn't see anything wrong with anything wrong at all with the street. It had, some cracks in it, but they come and they did it again, and about every couple of years they put that slurry coat on, and it's just beautiful.
Good. Thank you for
Okay,
the
that's
suggestions.
my thoughts.
Appreciate that.
I just thought I'd call in and something maybe you could
Yes.
work on.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. It's going on 6 o'clock in California, and he's on Connie on
The
time.
young man
I
calls
love
in
it.
all the time. Gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to listen.
To see you.
Oh, well, we're good friends.
Oh man,
We're good buddies.
your reach is long.
Anaheim, California. He in his backyard is Disneyland.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, every night he gets
Do
to see
fireworks.
sees the fireworks.
Oh, that's great.
593-7181. This is the time to call because John has to go to Columbus. And let him sneak away earlier today than normal. But oh, you're getting
There we
another
go.
one. Hi, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Morning.
Good morning.
Erie's doing that. They're every once a week, the whole month of February. They pick up something big. So that they don't have that problem of things getting thrown in ditches and
Good.
so on and so forth. But for that month of April, your garbage day, you're allowed to put out big stuff.
I think it's a good idea.
Yes.
They do that every year. That's nothing new. They do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the solutions to having city people picking up junk everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a big thing. I don't know if they have to pay, the township pays extra for it as a city, but it does help.
Yes, it would.
I mean, like right now, we got a fortune between the boat ramp at the dock company and the Weldon Road along the Vesper track. There's got to be a fortune in scrap metal there.
Right.
I doubt that'll ever get cleaned up.
I did not know Erie did that. I think it's a really good idea, though.
Yeah, they have the recycling. My sister lives in there.
Okay.
She's got 3 bins. They got one for garbage, one for recycle, and one for yard waste.
Hmm.
So they pick up everything.
I'll be there.
Well, I know we have single stream in Jefferson now. All of our recycling cans, bottles, paper, cardboard, you put it all in one, and they pick it up every other week.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very, very beneficial. And then once the township will have a major collection day, the county, I believe, runs a day in the fall for paint, tires, that sort of thing at the fairgrounds.
They used to. I don't know if they stopped that or not.
I don't know. But I think it's something we really need to. When I think back, my mom used to tell me about during the war growing up, they'd take the old toothpaste tubes, when they were made of recyclable material, recycle that, the paper drives, and even, and Pat, you'll probably remember this because you're young enough, juicy fruit gum, you could pull off the label, and that's actually was recyclable.
It was?
The wax paper.
I don't remember
And she showed me how to do it growing up. She said, now Johnny, this is what we used to do, and they'd recycle that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Young enough to listen.
But
I never knew that.
yeah. Check out Juicy Fruit or Double Mint, the wintergreen. There's some that's coated, and there's like thin paper. And then I always wondered about like Hershey Kisses. I mean, that's got to be aluminum or something that we just constantly throw it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just very, very
It's interesting.
observe.
I can't believe that they recycled way back to the World War II.
They had to because of the war, especially tires.
Because
and
of the
demand for natural resources. Yeah.
You're on the air.
Well, Pat, I'm calling back again in response to Dennis's comments. He was talking about guys buying recycled tires and putting them on their vehicles, but they can't afford the new tires. Well, they sure can afford to pick up a couple old tires off the road and turn them in as their recycled tires. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of paying the $15, they can't pay the $15, then they just need to pick up a couple tires off the road
And bring them in.
and turn those in as their tires that they need to turn in.
Right.
That was my thought.
I mean, you know, I know Dennis is against that kind of a thing, and I understand why, because, you know, money's money, you know. I mean, I understand people don't have enough money, but they need to start taking responsibility for their trash. And I don't know if what I've been saying is the answer to everything, but it's a start. I mean, if you start a discussion, then you work your way towards the conclusion. So that's the reason I called in. It's not necessarily saying to John that what I'm saying is the way to go, but if you start a discussion, then maybe you can come to a conclusion.
Right.
Because there is a problem with these tires sitting around on the roads. So
Sort
that's
of.
what I had to call back about. I want to thank Dennis, because he always finds the outlaw in me and wants to, and then you figure out how to beat the outlaw.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dennis. I just wanted to call in and have you respond.
Okay. All right, Tom.
And that's what's so beautiful about our democracy. And that's why I love serving in the House, because there are people who think of things that I wouldn't, given my worldview. And it's health, and more people you get involved, the closer to the truth you really get, I believe.
Sure. And it's good that, you know, welcome people giving me ideas because I don't have them, all of them, and I don't have any of the answers.
That's right. Our wives have the answer.
They're the only ones. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi,
Hi.
Jonathan. John, I would like to know everything that's going on with the developmentally delayed programs that are already in place and are being affected by some new laws.
Are you talking about the water quality bill we passed?
Am I talking about what?
What are you specifically? What are you asking, Patty? Do you mean about like the Ashcraft and that stuff?
Correct.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, there's some good news on that front. In fact, I was talking to my colleagues just last night about it. We heard on the Finance Committee loud and clear that some of the developmental centers the state was closing, the whole waiver issue and such. There have been some deep discussions between the administration and our local folks and others like them to study this some more. So apparently, and I will find out this afternoon for sure when we see the amendment coming in, that they're going to kind of put the brakes on this process for a while and do some additional studies. Now, what that ought to do is bring to light the issues that are going to be created by closure of such facilities. I don't think the state had, and the people who were making those decisions had any idea of the quality, work, and the necessity for those workshops. And they heard an earful from those people, and I appreciate all the input. It's forced them to truly think of this in a different way. So I can't tell you we're out of the woods yet, but I can tell you that there are serious discussions taking place. I was talking to some providers Friday when I was still in Columbus, and they're pretty pleased with the fact that the state's going to take an additional look at this and not make any rash decisions. But again, that was Friday. This is a new week. Things can change in a hurry down there. But I was encouraged by that. So we're just going to keep after it because I strongly support what the good folks out at Ashcraft and Happy Hearts do. It's a great place. Invite anybody to go out there and see how productive those folks are. So thank you for your call and thank you for your input.
John, one more question. What about the conflict with the free case management?
That's all part of those discussions too. And I wish I knew more about that, but it didn't come through my committee. All those discussions were heard in the Health and Human Services Subcommittee of Finance. So my colleagues were very encouraged by that conversation as well.
Well, thank you very much, and I hear that you are a supporter.
Yes.
And I'm very glad about that. I wish this gentleman that spoke yesterday, I think it was, Casey, he's not so much a supporter of it, huh?
Well, I'm not sure. I can tell you though that Director Martin has promised another visit up to Ashcraft sometime this spring after the budget. He wants to get more information, and in his defense, he strikes me as someone who is understanding, but keep in mind too, he works for the administration, and I think the administration is aware of the problems here. And the other component of this, the federal government is driving this to a certain extent too, so we have to put pressure on Senator Brown, Senator Portman, Congressman Joyce for the feds to take a second look at this. I mean, we all want what is best for our people, but for some of them, their choice, and we are about choice, some of them, their choice would be one of these sheltered workshops, and I think we need to allow those people to make those choices for themselves.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Patty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, before I let you go, I got to tell you, first day for our new city manager.
Oh my goodness, yes. My brother Jim.
Do you know Jim?
Heavens, yes, from Geneva on the Lake.
Yeah.
Married to Laura Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really, it's great to work with him at Geneva on the Lake.
I'm looking forward to
and I'm glad, I feel sorry for Geneva on the Lake. I'm happy for Pontiac.
Yeah.
Because he's going to bring new vitality. And Tim had that too, but a different vision, especially with the local flavor. Jim really gets it. He cares about that.
Yeah.
You couldn't have made a better choice.
My son called me Saturday night and says, Dad, he was at a going away party or a surprise party, I guess it was, for Mr. Herzog. I think he's retiring from Herzog Insurance, and it was at Martini's, and he goes, I met the new city manager. He goes, he's a really, really nice guy.
Yes.
And so you got to get him on the show.
That's
I know
right.
we're going to do that. We're
Good.
planning on doing that, but
Very
I want to get him
personable.
acclimated. I heard he's very personal.
Oh my goodness, yes. Cares, great family guy, and well, you know Laura Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with leadership.
Yep. That's his wife.
Yeah.
And he's a great family guy with
Yeah.
kids and such.
I'm really excited.
I'm
I'm
thrilled.
looking forward to meeting him.
Yep.
Good morning, you're on the air.
It seems that so many of these projects they have, they're just not thought through to the end. And this sounds like a good idea. These people are pretty weak. We can take money from them, and nobody's going to say anything. Well, they hadn't thought about, and two, if a program is run well and efficiently, it's not noticed.
That's right.
And this program, and we have the DD over there, they have honed this for years and worked and gotten the bad parts out as much as they could. So it's a very efficiently run program. And as a result, nobody knows it's there or knows all the aspects of it. And that's true of government too. This sounds like a good idea, but they don't get in there and see the workings of the program.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me?
Yes,
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
And that's why I
Yeah.
try to make an effort to be as involved in our communities
Absolutely.
as possible. I need to
Absolutely.
know. I
And
need
it's
to
a
know.
whole, well, it's a whole new world down there in Columbus.
It is.
All this business, and my daughter lives in Westerville, and every time I went down there was a whole new area built up of businesses and shops and so on. And then there's us up here. And it's just like two different worlds.
I know.
And they really don't understand the problems that we have.
And I thought I retired from teaching back in June of 2012, but I've come to realize that I'm a state legislature. I'm still a teacher. I said that back.
Yeah,
Still a teacher,
absolutely.
cleverly disguised as a state legislator.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was really invaluable education for you. To be,
Oh my goodness.
To be a teacher.
Those 5,000 teenagers taught me a lot of life lessons. They raised me right.
And we've been in the rental business for over 50 years. And after marijuana got into it, the whole rental business changed. And it is now a nightmare. Really, truly is. First, they didn't pay their rent, and then they lost their jobs because they weren't going to work. And then they didn't pay their heat bill, and they didn't bother telling the landlord about it, so the pipes froze. And it just went on and on and on. And it's always the landlord's fault, that things are like this. And you said that magic word, responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And
Okay.
that's the thing, and people don't want to be responsible anymore. It's always pass the buck, somebody else's fault. And if you call, we had a problem with Social Security years ago, and every place I called gave me a different answer. They should all be on the same page, wouldn't you think? But, there we go. And it's really frustrating, especially for older people,
I know.
because we're supposed to be kind of relaxed now, but every little thing you have to research yourself. And they said they were always very surprised. They say, oh, yes, well, that's true, so on. But, it's just a messy world anymore. It really, truly is.
Well, never give up hope, because that's what we live on.
Well, thank you for being so involved in everything, because that's the key.
You're
And
welcome.
we really need somebody who understands Ashtabula County and
That's right.
the problem. We have so many blessings in this area.
That's right.
And there's things that aren't so good, but it's a good place to live.
Amen.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, John, thank you so much for coming in, taking the time. Have a safe trip down to
I
Columbus.
shall. It's a great day.
And we will see you on a Tuesday next month.
On a Tuesday.
The day after Memorial Day.
Yes. Oh, and that's going to be a great day because we are supposed, tentatively, there is a section of Route 20 that has been dedicated in memory of our World War I veterans, and that's, I sponsored legislation for that. The VFW of Ashtabula asked for Ashtabula Township's portion of Route 20 to be named in honor of World War I veterans.
Really?
So they're going to be putting up the sign. We're going to dedicate that
On
on that day.
On Memorial Day.
The day after.
Or the day after, on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's important because, my gosh, that's what's 100 years ago. World War I, we weren't in it yet. It started in the summer of 1914.
Yeah.
So I think that those guys are gone now. It's important to remember.
Yeah, I don't think there's any remaining
Well,
alive.
no. Keep in mind that if they were 18 when we got into it in 1917, they would have been born in 1899. Which,
It's 100 and...
yeah, they're not
No.
around.
No.
Yeah.
No, because most of our World War II veterans are in their 80s, 90s now. So, wow,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We'll
Yeah.
talk more about that next time around.
Yeah.
Okay?